And we have Ambassador John Bolton joining us live. But before that, let's see what Donald Trump had to say at the RNC. Now, Trump is officially the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. He broke 2 records. It's first time in Republicans' history that the same person was nominated for 3 consecutive elections. And Trump's speech was the longest in any convention history. Records aside, did he keep up the expectations from the closing night of the RNC is the question. Let's find out.
I really see something that said, take a look what happened. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you.
Donald J. Trump has become the official presidential nominee for a record 3rd term. The 78-year-old walked onto the stage with gratitude, clapping and mouthing, "Thank you." The stage was perfectly set up, helmed by American flags on either side. About 10 screens turned black and glared the word Trump. Big enough for everyone at the 700,000 square foot arena to see. But what caught everyone's eyes was a fireperson's uniform and helmet. It belonged to the victim of Saturday's assassination attempt. Corey Comparator's family allowed his belongings to be used as a tribute to him. But for the audience that struggled to restrain its emotions, the uniform was a constant reminder throughout the 90-minute-long speech of the fate Trump narrowly escaped to be with them today.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
The word unity was heard only once. But on full display was a carefully orchestrated effort to repackage Trump as a humbler, unifying figure and more palatable to swing voters. At least for the first few minutes of his speech, the new version of Trump lasted barely half an hour. But the Trump more familiar to Americans was clearly visible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. Under my plan, incomes will skyrocket, inflation will vanish completely, jobs will come roaring back, and the middle class will prosper like never, ever before, and we're going to do it very rapidly. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built. We will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it. To achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country.
Donald Trump spoke on for 92 minutes, breaking the record for the longest convention speech in history. Trump will now return to the campaign trail, and this time with his newly anointed vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, by his side. Those skeptical of his makeover will watch to see how long the push for unity will last. You report, WION World is One.
And to take that further, Ambassador John Bolton is joining us live from Washington, D.C. He's the former assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and also a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador, it's good to have you on WION. Sorry for keeping you for waiting. Let me first ask you this. Did you see a changed Donald Trump at the closing night of the RNC?
Well, I think there was some effort to go after national unity. You played a clip to that effect, but most of the speech was the same Donald Trump. And I think he knows what his campaign managers have told him, that many Americans want to tone down the partisan rhetoric. And he gave them that in some of his opening remarks. But the rest of the speech, a 90-minute, that's Fidel Castro length speaking, was like it was from a Trump campaign rally. So I don't see that he's a changed man. Obviously, when you're shot at, it has an effect on you. But I think Donald Trump is the same Donald Trump today he was before that attack.
All right, Ambassador, let's go back to Saturday when there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Do you think there was a security lapse?
Well, obviously something went wrong, or the shooter would never have been able to get that close and take that many shots. President Biden has ordered a full investigation, an independent investigation. I think that's very important. I think that investigation has to be comprehensive, but I also think it needs to be done quickly to avoid conspiracy theories from springing up. The people in Congress are going to be holding hearings as well. So I think it's important to get all the facts out and to do it comprehensively. But also, as I say, it's important to do it quickly.
All right. Do you think there'll be any change in foreign policy in case Donald Trump comes back to the White House along with J.D. Vance?
Well, I think it'll be an enormous change. I don't think it will look anything like Joe Biden's policy, but predicting what Trump will do is next to impossible. You know, he doesn't have a philosophy. He doesn't do policy as we normally understand that term. It's episodic, ad hoc, transactional, and seen through the prism of what benefits Trump. So there are a number of issues that he cares about, but how he approaches them really depend on the time and the circumstances that he may face if he's elected in November.
All right, Ambassador, since you say that, I'll quickly take you through two quotes, one by Donald Trump, where he said, "I will bring stability, peace and harmony to the world." And J.D. Vance said the other night, "I'm pushing for a halt to the United States' foreign adventures." What do you make of those two statements then?
Well, of course, the first statement by Trump is unprovable one way or the other. I mean, Mother Teresa could bring hope, peace, and security to the world, too, or at least she could promise it. And it's a typical Trump boast. You know, the world's a complex and dangerous place, and I don't think Trump fully understands it. J.D. Vance is somebody who really, I think, has gone in a very isolationist direction. I think he believes that's what Trump wants. And I think his selection as vice president puts him in a position in the White House, if the ticket wins, to be Trump's voice on foreign policy. But I think Trump, because he doesn't have a philosophy, is very hard to predict. And notwithstanding that Vance clearly has isolationist tendencies, I'm not sure how great his influence on Trump will be.
All right, Ambassador, before I let you go, about 100 days to go for elections, and we see one assassination attempt on the former president, and the incumbent is rather struggling to prove his competence to his own party. Where does that put America on the global perspective?
Well, I think it's very hard to predict the outcome of this election. I mean, the Democrats are facing a choice between certain defeat, which is what happens if they leave Biden on the ticket, and probable defeat, which is what they face if they take him on the take him off the ticket and try and replace him with someone else. They should have made this change a year ago. Biden originally said he would be a one-term president. He could have retired gracefully a year ago. They could have had a primary process. It was unfortunately, sadly for Biden himself, all too evident that we could be at this point, and yet nobody was willing to persuade him to step aside. So the Democrats are in real trouble. I think Trump is very likely to win. The real question is, how big will the Republican majority in the Senate and the House be? I think it could be quite substantial.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.